Hi, Project Runway fans. I'm Amanda Fields, here to give you another recap of Season 5 All Stars finale.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, my Project Runway friends. This is the finale of Project Runway All Stars Season 5. Our final three are Ken, Dom, and Keeney. I'm Amanda Fields. I'm ready to get into it with you. And I love that the theme of the finale is the inspiration that the designers got from the city of New York. And, by the way, not only is it the finale of Season 5, but it's on Cinco de Mayo. Whoop, whoop. Happy Cinco de Mayo out there. Let's get right to the show. First of all, the designers go up to the brand new World Trade Center, One World Trade Center, to the 102nd floor. They meet Alyssa Milano up there and chat about their inspiration of New York, from the first time they were on Project Runway to the All-Star season that they're currently on. And they get to sketch and get their ideas for their final collection while they're standing there, taking all the views in and sharing their memories. I thought it was very beautiful and sweet and inspirational, and I'm all about it. Of course, I used to live in New York City, so it's very special to me. It's where I got started in my career, and I think the designers feel like it's a big part of their fashion journey. They start sketching. Some of the inspirations that Alyssa Milano mentioned are optimism, forward thinking. This collection will draw on your experiences of being here in NYC. They have only 4 days to produce this finale collection. The budget is $3,000 each at Mood to go shopping, yet they only have 1 hour to shop, which I thought, that's a little weird. I mean, usually it's only 30 minutes, but why limit it to just 1 hour when you have $3,000 to spend? And then they get to talk about their model selection. There is an entire group of models marching in, what you would call a model army, with 3 male models in the front of the group. Now, I noticed, and you probably noticed too watching at home, that there were a lot of models that were part of the show that got to be in the finale, which I thought was a great moment to have them included. Some of my favorite models, of course, that were part of the whole series. And they got to cast their models in their finale collection. However, no one was being sent away. All the models were going to be used. They had 24, so 8 to each designer. And one of those 8 models was a male model. So they each got to choose their models, but I thought it was a little strange that they kind of just paraded them one at a time and they all kept walking. I would have liked to see each model one at a time. And perhaps they did show the models one at a time at the casting, but that's just not what we saw on TV. So they get to Mood, and I like that they all had a very clear vision of what they wanted to buy, and they weren't really fighting over the fabric choices. But Ken said, hey, don't that Hawaiian guy over there and the girl with the afro over there take any of my fabric. He was very clear, don't let them steal my ideas. I actually had a favorite moment this episode, and it was an unexpected, sweet moment during all of their hard work. It was at the end of one of their very tough work days. They got to go on the rooftop of the Hudson Hotel and enjoy their champagne with cheese and grapes and just reflect on their whole All-Star season together. And they were very complimentary of each other. They shared in the joy of their competition, the joy of being in the final 3. And it was great to have them joke around and just be themselves and not necessarily be at each other's throats. I like the respect that they're building between each other. Now, of course, after 2 work days, Zana Roberts-Rossi, she's come in a couple of times to chat with the designers in the work group. But she announces that they not only are making this collection by themselves over the course of 4 days, but they will each have a designer assistant. Now, I guess the show has already predetermined who will assist whom. So Ken has Leanna being his assistant. Dom has Alexander being her assistant, and Keeney has Asha being his assistant. Now, they all are given tasks right away as they come in the door. They're like, "Ooh, you're angels sent from above because we need your help." They each delegate them, I thought, very nicely to make a pair of pants, to start draping a top, to start putting together a shirt. It's all very fast-paced, and they know exactly what they needed them to do. I don't know if that was like because the producers thought they weren't going to finish in time or what, but I enjoyed that because for me, this whole episode, I keep saying the word joy, but it's true. That's the theme. It brings the joy of fashion back instead of trying to just one-up each other all the time. So tonight, there are 2 guest judges. We have Deborah Messing, and we also have Anne Fallenweider from Maria Claire magazine. Excuse me, I need to get a sip of my drink. All right, so we also have, the same jewelry and shoes that they've had all along. They get to choose the Chinese laundry accessory wall, and they go to the hair and makeup room, and they all have clear visions of what they want done. I don't know about you out there, but I always like to see what models they select for these collections and the flow of like who goes first to who goes last. I thought Dom's first model was so stunning, and I don't know what you thought, but I loved her technique of painting. We can actually go ahead and get to the beautiful runway rundown of this evening's show because I want to get right into it with you guys. I'm excited to talk about all the pieces, and there's a lot to talk about. So the first look coming down the runway for Dom Streeter has this incredible painted fabric. And I, along with all of the judges, really responded well to this look. She came out and it was just so effortless, and it was really a movable feast for the eyes. All of the pieces I thought were very cohesive, and I liked her use of print with the painted parts of it, the stripes that she had decided to buy with the cotton jersey and different t-shirt materials. I wish I could have gone through the TV and felt the fabric myself. I'm curious to know if the painted fabric felt like, did it really feel like paper, or was it a little bit softer? A lot of the judges were kind of indecisive about this plaid print. They weren't so fond of it. They liked the more impressionist print that she started out with, the more Monet print of it all. The plaid, I think, threw them off because it was not of the same desire. It was not of the same thinking to them. And I think it was just more pop art, more modern art, and it was a whole different collection than the impressionistic art in the beginning. So it did, but that's the thing about New York City. You have so many different little neighborhoods that are like different worlds, but they work together. And so I think that's where Dom was going with this collection. I think she wanted to showcase the fact that New York is kind of a whole animal unto itself. And when you're there, it's very inspirational, and you feel like each neighborhood is a different animal, is a different vibe and mood, especially downtown versus uptown. You can think of all the different styles of very inspirational shows like Sex and the City, the fashion that went along with it. I wasn't sure how literal some of these designers would be, but speaking of literal, I love Ken's first look. His model comes down the runway, and this is actually Keeney's collection. If we could go to the other collection, that would be great. But Ken's first model comes out, and she has this very fitted silhouette on the upper part of her body. And then in the lower part of her body, it's a wide leg trouser, but it's it's done in a way that looks like it could be a ball gown. And the shape of it is very architectural. He was really into the architecture of New York City, the skyscrapers, the sweeping cityscapes. And I feel like this was the sexiest collection because it was almost like sexy without showing too much skin. It was very appealing, sophisticated, chic. I think this is every woman's dream wardrobe. And Anne Fullenwider from Maria Clara magazine actually mentioned that it is pieces that every woman wants in their closet, and a lot of women already have, and that is her issue with it. I disagree. I think when everything is done on a very sophisticated level with more quote-unquote basic shapes, it can be very flattering. It can be very expensive looking. It can be a very something that you crave to wear all the time. Forever pieces, as a lot of people will say. And when you're going to buy an investment piece like a gown, you want it to be something that you know will look good for a long time. So I really applaud Ken in selecting silhouettes and color choices and fabric choices that are very flattering to most people's figures. And I think the wide leg trouser is one of the most successful things he's ever done on the show, on his season or the finale. And I love that he stuck to the pop of color with the yellow dress. I was really afraid that he was going to leave that yellow fabric behind in the workroom. He was considering just letting it go. He's like, I don't know if I respond to this. He was a little afraid of what the judges might think. Thank goodness he kept it around because it really sings as the finale look of his finale collection. And moving on to Keeney. Now, I really liked this first look. I thought, wow, okay, this is a cool girl that I want to dress like. I thought it was an interesting choice of accessories, having this headband in all the model's hair. I think it was a good choice. It kind of, no matter what the model's hair color was, it kind of made them all look uniform. I appreciated his use of fabrics. I wasn't so sure about his fabrics, though, in the workroom, especially with that menswear look. And this look here that you're seeing on the screen of the white button-up shirt with the little pink vest, as I would call it, with a trouser. That look is cute, but it kind of looks like something that Cher would wear in the 90s in Clueless. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad look. It just didn't go with the rest of the collection, in my opinion, as well as Isaac Mizrahi's opinion. And these dresses at the end, this one in particular, the blue dress, I think it had some fit issues, especially around her hips. I think it's an interesting shape, though, and nice use of color. I love the last three dresses, especially the pink that you're seeing right now. It's a very nice, fun, whimsical look. And I think that's what people want when they see a fashion show. You want something that is going to be maybe a little bit of what you know, but a lot of what you don't know. Something surprising you, something fun to see. And even though it wasn't my favorite collection as a whole, I can understand the judges loving these key pieces, especially towards the end. Now, some of the judges were saying, especially Deborah Messing, that they didn't understand really who this woman is. Where is she going? What is she doing in her day? It was a little choppy, especially, it didn't quite go from day to night. It went from day to a different kind of day to night to a different type of night. But I could see a lot of people wanting to wear those dresses to a lot of different kind of parties, perhaps an art gallery opening, the Met Gala. I'm not so sure. I think he would need some more gowns for that. But Keeney, I think, is a very strong designer, and I was not always a proponent of Keeney. I didn't see this kind of potential in him in some of the earlier challenges. But I really like this finale collection. I think he managed to keep true to his workmanship, to what he does best, his strong sewing skills. He can craft something together very quickly, but he wasn't rushing through with his design quality. This time around, he really thought about the way things are going to look on the models. I think he was looking at it, though, as each individual piece and not as a collection overall. So I felt like some of the looks felt a little bit recycled from other designers, but excuse me, a little bit costumey at times. But, you know, fashion can be fun. It can be costumey. You just have to embrace it. And I think Keeney really embraced it. And he went, you know, they say go big or go home. And he went big. And he actually ended up walking away with the title. Congratulations. Oh, actually, I wanted him to take the title. But guess what? He didn't. I misspoke. I loved it so much, I would have given it to Keeney. That's what I was going to tell you. He was my choice to win. Actually, third place tonight was Ken. He went off the stage first. Second place tonight was Keeney, who I wanted to win. First place is Dom Streeter. Forgive me for misspeaking to begin with. I really loved her collection. I disagreed with the choice of her winning because I felt that Keeney made a lot of progress as a designer, and that was my favorite collection. But congratulations to Dom. She is the winner of Project Runway All Stars Season 5. And I applaud the different techniques of each designer in the final three. I like that none of them went for the same kind of fabrics or design options. I like that Dom literally painted with a paintbrush on her fabric. It was nice to see the art in motion, as they say. And as an entire season, I wasn't really as enthusiastic about some of the challenges or some of the looks throughout the season, but the finale really pulled it all together. They really made it work. There was a moment, as you saw on the episode, that Dom's dress form fell over on the fabric that she was painting, and she was letting it dry, and the three finalists went for a break, and they hear this giant crash, and she's like, what just happened? But I think she knew. She kind of closed her eyes and knew, okay, that's my fabric. And it was, and she was kind of afraid if she could fix it, but that's Dom for you. She can always make it work. I'm curious to know your thoughts from this season. Tweet me at The Runway Queen. Please let me know what you loved, what you hated, what you weren't so sure about. I would love to have this discussion even longer about the show. Okay, we also could talk about the fact that the Met Gala was this week, and the theme was Manus Ex Machina, man and machine. And I'm sure you've seen on Instagram and Twitter all of the images of what Lady Gaga was wearing, what Madonna was wearing, what was hot and what was not. All these beautiful movie stars and models and singers come out every year for this Met Gala. There's a different theme. Of course, Anna Wintour throws the party. And it's always interesting to see who kind of goes for it and who just wears whatever the heck they want. This year, of course, all eyes are going to be on Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Whether you love them, whether you hate them, they definitely wowed with this very metallic dress, and Kanye wearing these crazy blue contact lenses. I wasn't so sure what they were going for, if this was alien chic or not. But I thought it reminded me of all of you, people that love Project Runway. I'm hoping that they kind of do a challenge like this in the future, something very avant-garde and futuristic. I would love to see them go outside of the box with what they're asking the designers to do. I know they always have an unconventional challenge, but maybe they could do more incorporated real world challenges of like, okay, you need to create this look for this magazine, this shoot with this celebrity. They've done that before, but put them, to the test with a real shoot that's really happening and not just a fake one that they're doing for Project Runway. Or put them in the position of dressing actors in costumes for a TV show. Deborah Messing tonight mentioned that when she saw Ken's collection all together standing on the runway when they were judging it, she said, I could see this as a cast photo for a series. And that is actually a really great compliment. It's not necessarily, shocking as a fashion designer or extremely innovative, but it is something to be said for cohesion and working together as something beautiful that can communicate different characters individually, but as a whole, they really speak to you as one unit. And I think that is what a lot of designers go for, is each model coming out on stage has her own voice. Yes, they're not going to speak. However, each look coming down a runway should speak volumes by itself. And like the great collections that we have seen in New York Fashion Week at these Project Runway finales, a lot of designers will say, I can speak about it for a long time, but I'm going to let the clothes speak for themselves. And I think that's what Ken really did this evening. I really enjoyed this collection. I think it was very fun. And again, I think that pop of yellow is something that we're going to see a lot, especially this summer. I actually wore a pop of yellow myself. And I know you can't see it because I'm wearing shoes, but I'm going to try to show you. Ken, I'm on your side. I'm with you on that pop of yellow. I am all about it. I know neon was very popular in the last couple of years, but I think Ken was going for a very rich yellow. It was like a sunflower yellow. It wasn't so, neon in your face, like my shoes. But I think that he was so smart to keep that color in, and I would love to wear that yellow dress. It's incredible, especially the neckline. Excuse me. I always talk a lot, but I'm not always talking all by myself. So sometimes I have to get a little sip of my drink. But as a model, I appreciate all of these beautiful women and men working the designs of Project Runway all season long, especially if we can put some of the pictures back up. Let's see how they brought these pieces to life. I kind of sped through it before, which is totally cool. But now we can kind of go to each look and look at it a little bit in more detail. I think that the model can really make or break a look. And a lot of these models, like I said, were from the series. This model here was on the show all along. And I think she has a really nice flow on the runway. I like her posture. I like the way that she flowed down the runway, and especially with this look, I like that Ken kept the hair and makeup simple. When you have a very sleek, chic collection, and you're talking about New York, you don't want to go too over the top, because a lot of the whole vibe of a New York City woman is definitely chic, sophisticated, clean, modern. And I think that there is a lot of influence of menswear as women's wear. And, you have your classic New York women that you think of, like Audrey Hepburn, but then you also have like the Olsen twins and everything in between. So I think Ken really gets that. He gets that vibe of just wanting to be like a sexy woman out in New York City at night, you know, going to the finest restaurants and clubs. She doesn't have to wait in line. She gets in for free. She gets free drinks. She gets the free dinners. And so I like that he really knows his girl and who she is and what she's all about. Dom's women, I think they were a very free spirit. I feel like even though her collection felt like New York, these women to me feel like a little bit more LA. They feel kind of like an effortless chic. I feel like this style can share in different big cities across the world. But this kind of silhouette and style with the long hair, it does feel West Coast to me, and that can be a good thing. I think if the inspiration was, you know, Portlandia, LA, you know, an Angelino girl, Coachella a little bit in there, Burning Man. I think she embodies all of these things, but I don't know if I can say I know exactly who that woman is, like I can say who Ken's woman is. However, Dom's finale girl in the gown, well, it was like a long skirt that's plaid with her top. I think that girl, she of course made her look like herself, which I love that she put that stamp on it. She did the afro hair, you know, she had her kind of embody who Dom Streeter is as a woman. And so maybe that's what she wanted to showcase is, well, women can have a multifaceted personality with their wardrobe and with their hair and with their mood from day to day, of course. And so I think she really wanted to go after that part of herself. Also, additionally, as we look at Keeney's girl, I don't think she's New York to me. She is more maybe New York in the 80s. It's very, yeah, like designing women, a little bit chicer. And again, I love this collection, but the some of the women, I didn't know where they were going in New York. I wasn't so sure. I couldn't think of like a specific location in New York City that this is reminding me of, or what party they're attending, until we got towards the very end in the blue, the blue dress that was fitted to the whole body, that was like that T-length dress at the mid-calf. That is definitely something that I could see in New York, but in a movie version of New York and not real life. I know a lot of you might disagree with that, but that's the way I felt when I saw it come down the runway. But I really liked how these models had fun with the big shoulders and the exaggerated bows and the ruffle detailing. I think they really got into the vibe, and they excuse me, got into the groove. But yes, I just I don't know. I feel like if you want a designer to make you feel like the coolest girl in all of New York, call up Ken. If you want to be in a Fantasyland movie version of New York, call Keeney. And if you want to be like the effortless kind of Coachella girl in a big city, call Dom. Thank you guys for sticking with us all season long. And please tweet me your comments. I love your YouTube comments. I'm so happy you watched all season. And I'm looking forward to hearing all of your thoughts about all of these collections and models and designers and judges. I am Amanda Fields, and I'm so happy that you tuned in again. And we'll be back for more next season. Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.